Dear students, welcome to today's class. In the yesterday class, I explained about how to find the domain and range of a quadratic function. Find the range of the function y is equal to x square plus x plus 1 upon x square minus x plus 1 where x belongs to real numbers. Okay, na? So, let us see the problem here. So, as usual, generally everybody will do that. So, we will take this cross multiplication. So, this is a yx square minus yx plus y, and it is minus x square minus x minus 1 is equal to 0. So, we will make a quadratic equation in the variable x. So, this is equal to y minus 1 x square plus minus y minus 1 into x plus y minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, now. If you observe here, x is a real number. So, x is a real number means what? This quadratic equation has some roots. X is a real number means its quadratic equation has some roots. That means what? Those roots may be 2 roots or maybe 1 root. Understand this? Maybe 2 roots or maybe 1 root. Okay. So, for this whatever may be this condition, whether this or this is delta greater than or equal to 0. That means what? Delta greater than or equal to 0 means what? Its discriminant is greater than or equal to 0. That means minus y minus 1 b square minus 4ac should be greater than or equal to 0. Minus y minus 1 whole square means what? Y plus 1 whole square. So, this is equal to y square plus 2y plus 1 minus 4 times y minus 1 whole square. That means a minus b whole square. Y square minus 2y plus 1 greater than or equal to 0. So, this is a y square plus 2y plus 1 minus 4y square plus 8y minus 4 greater than or equal to 0. Y square minus 4y square means minus 3y square. This is a 10y. This is minus 3 greater than or equal to 0. Generally, y square or x square coefficients, we don't encourage negative coefficients. Let us multiply with the minus. So, this is a 3y square minus 10y plus 3. It is obviously less than or equal to 0. Okay. Let us do the quadratic factorization. So, this is a 3y square minus 9y minus y plus 3 less than or equal to 0. So, this is a 3y common, y minus 3. Here minus 1 common, y minus 3 less than or equal to 0. Okay, now. So, this is a y minus 3 times 3y minus 1 less than or equal to 0. So, your 1 by 3 less than or equal to y less than or equal to 3. So, y belongs to 1 by 3, 3. So, your range of this function is closure bracket 1 by 3 comma 3. That means, whatever may be the input you give, x value, whatever may be the input you will give, the output will be always lies between 1 by 3 to 3, including 1 by 3 and 3. But here, one thing you have to remember before concluding the answer, before saying that this is the answer is right, one thing you have to be careful in mind. That is the thing is, observe the x square coefficient and the x coefficient. Here x square coefficient is y minus 1, here x coefficient is minus y minus 1. Okay, now. For what value of y, x square coefficient will become 0. That means y minus 1 is equal to 0, y is equal to 1. For what value of y, the x coefficient is 0. That is minus y minus 1 is equal to 0, y is equal to minus 1. Okay, na? So, when you are getting these two are different, so y is equal to 1, for y is equal to 1, x square coefficient becomes 0. When y is equal to minus 1, x coefficient will become 0. Then only this is the final answer. Then only that will be the final answer. If you are getting the both same thing, then what you have to do? What you have to do? Okay, na? So, you should not conclude that that is the final answer. Now, next time I am going to explain another problem in which the majority of the students will do the wrong. Okay, na? So, let us see that problem. Dear students, welcome to second problem. So, this problem majority of the students will do wrong. So, if you should be very careful before declaring the final answer. Okay, na? So, let us see this problem. So, here as usual I am proceeding the to find the range of the function. So here, see here, what you have to do, yx square plus yx plus y minus x square minus x minus 2 is equal to 0. So therefore, this is a y minus 1 x square plus x coefficient y minus 1 into x plus y minus 2 is equal to 0, right. So here x is a real number, unless otherwise given x is a real number. That means x is a real number means what? X taking some real numbers. X is having some real numbers as a roots. Therefore, either one root or maximum two roots. That's why it should, delta should be greater than or equal to 0. The discriminant should be greater than or equal to 0. So what is the discriminant here? Delta greater than 0. That means y minus 1 whole square minus 4 into y minus 1 into y minus 2 is greater than or equal to 0, right. So this is an expansion you do. So y square minus 2y plus 1, that is 4 times. This is a y square minus 3y plus 2 greater than or equal to 0. So multiply, open the bracket. So that is a minus 4y square plus 12y minus 8 greater than or equal to 0. Y square minus 4y square minus 3y square. So this is equal to 10y. So this is equal to minus 7 greater than or equal to 0. So this is a so this is a y square coefficient is a negative. This should not be encouraged. So therefore, so this is equal to 3y square. So minus 10y plus 7 obviously less than or equal to 0. 3 7s are 21 minus 3 minus 7. Okay, so this is equal to 3y square minus 3y minus 7y plus 7 less than or equal to 0. So this is equal to 3y, y minus 1 7, y minus 1 less than or equal to 0. So y minus 1 3y minus 7 less than or equal to 0. Okay, now right. So your y value lies between y belongs to closure bracket 1 to 7 by 3. 7 by 3 means more than 1. So smaller value. So everybody will conclude this. Y belongs to closure bracket 1 to 7 by 3. Therefore, the answer will be, what is the range of the function? In the options it will be there. What is the range of this function? So range is equal to x such that 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 7 by 3. X belongs to real numbers. It will be there. Of course, all the range domain should be expressed in the variable x. Everybody will give the answer. But the thing is, what you have to should observe carefully is, if you take y is equal to 1, that means what? Y, you are taking y and 7 by 3. If you take y is equal to 1, let us see what happens here. X square coefficient is what here? Y minus 1. If you take here, y, put y is equal to 1 here. 1 minus 1, 0. 1 minus 1, 0. 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2 is equal to how much? 1 minus 2 minus 1 is equal to 0. Is it right? Is it minus 1 is equal to 0? Is a statement that statement is right? Never. It is not at all equal. That means, for the same, for y is equal to 1, x square coefficient is 0. For y is equal to 1, x coefficient is also 0. For y is equal to 1, both x square coefficient and x coefficient are becoming for same value. At that time, that value should be removed from your range. That value should be removed from your range. Therefore, your range is y belongs to open bracket 1 comma 7 by 3. Open bracket 1 comma 7 by 3. That means you should not take 1 here. So your range is x such that 1 strictly less than x less than or equal to 7 by 3 by 2. Why? Because if you take y is equal to 1, you are getting an identity which is not true. Which is not true. Minus 1 is equal to true. Identity which is not, you are getting not identity, you are getting a statement which is not true. Understand? So you should be careful while concluding the answer. Okay, na? So afterwards, whatever may be this a problem, whatever may be the problem, after finding the solution set of any quadratic equation, finding the domain, finding the range, you should test the validity of that domain and range. Understand? So I hope that you understand this solution. So let us go another model problem, which is also very, very important. Okay, now? Dear students, welcome to third problem. It is also very, very important. Generally, students made mistakes for this type of problems. So to solve this type of problems, you should be in a analytical thinking should be there. Okay, logical thinking should be there. For example, the problem is given like this: y is equal to x square minus 5x plus 6 upon x square minus 3x plus 2. Right, generally everybody do that. Generally don't cross multiply. Let us see that any factorization is possible in the numerator denominator. It's obviously possible. What is that? X minus 2 times x minus 3. Here also x minus 2 times x minus 1. Is it sufficient? Right, correct. Generally, we will cancel x minus 2, x minus 2. That means you are not supposed to x minus 2 should not be equal to 0. You should not take x value is equal to 2. So, your domain is clearly, your domain is the set of all real numbers except 2. That is clear. We are asking range here. Domain is clearly set of all real numbers except 2. Why 2? If you take 2, you will get numerator is 0, denominator is also 0, therefore you are not getting 2, you should not get 2, okay now, right. For 2, you are not getting any output, you are getting the output 0 by 0, which is not a real number, okay now, right. Generally then what you will do, x minus 2 will get cancelled, that means for x is not equal to 2, therefore x minus 3 by x minus 1, okay now here you have to remember one very, very important point. Why? Here you are not taking x is you are not taking 2. If you take 2, what happens? You see here, if you take x is equal to 2, what happens? 2 minus 3, that is a minus 1. 2 minus 1, 1, that is minus 1. That means you are not taking 2. If you take 2, what you are getting y value is minus 1, but you should not take 2. Your output should not, your input should not be 2. If you have taken, generally what you will get minus 1. Therefore, since you are not taking x, you are not taking 2, y also should not be equal to minus 1. That should be, you have to careful be, okay, right. So now cross multiply, general measure, now here general measure, yx minus y is equal to x minus 3. So this is a yx minus x is equal to y plus 3. So x common, y minus 1 is equal to y plus 3. X is equal to y plus 3 by y minus 1. So to define what is a range? Range is a set of values for which x is defined. To make x is defined, for defined values of x, what are you getting? Output. That is the very main definition of our range. Okay, so x will be defined when it is defined when your y value, y minus 1 should not be equal to 0. So y should not be equal to 1. Y should not be equal to 1. For y is equal to 1, your x is not defined. Okay, now, therefore, your range is equal to the set of real numbers except minus 1 and 1. This is a very, very important. Generally, students, what they will do? No, they will omit this answer. They will omit this answer. They will take x minus 2 will get cancelled. Okay, they will do the domain answer is correct, they will do. While coming to all these two, therefore, y is not equal to, they will write that range is equal to r minus 1. They will write, they think that that is the answer, final answer. But think carefully that for your x now, you are not taking 2, therefore, y also should not get minus 1. Y also should not get minus 1. So, this is a very, very logical problem. I hope that you understand all these three problems, First problem, second problem, third problem, that is quadratic by quadratic. Understand true? So, let us see some more types of problems. Okay, now? Dear students, now let us see the domain and ranges of some standard functions. So, it is already there in your material. So, why I am explaining, once again I am explaining means, while studying these things, better to study comparative study is very, very important. Okay, now don't by heart the results. Don't by heart here. Comparison. Why? Because here, see the order. Sin x, cos x, tan x, cosecant, secant, cot. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sin x, secant is the reciprocal of cos x, cot x is the reciprocal of tan x. Okay, now, right. Always learn your concept in this order only, always for all your examinations, whatever that, so that this format will be printed in your mind. Don't change that pattern. So the domain of the sine function is a set of real numbers. That means here x is there. No, you can give any input. Here x you can give 30 degrees, 40 degrees, 50 degrees, whatever may be that. Minus 200, minus 500, whatever may be the input you can give. But the output is always from minus 1 to 1. That's all. So but you can see the sine curve that already I explained in calculus. Okay, right. So this is a minus 1 to 1 including minus 1, 1, right. For cos x also input you can give any input you can give, but the output is always minus 1 to 1 only. But coming to tan x, the odd multiples of pi by 2 is not allowed. Odd multiples of pi by 2. What is what? Tan 90. Tan 90 is not defined. Therefore, tan 3 pi by 2 not defined. Tan 5 pi by 2 not defined. Now coming to negative side. Tan minus pi by 2 not defined. Tan minus 3 pi by 2 not defined. Tan minus 7 pi by 2 not defined. Understand this? So the negatives are not allowed. Negative multiples of pi by 2. Except negative multiples of pi by 2, all real numbers you can give input. That output is as usual R. So here also for cosecant also n pi, cosecant pi not allowed. Cosecant 2 pi, cosecant 3 pi, cosecant 4 pi, they are not defined. So for secant also odd multiples are not defined. For cot is also n pi, it is the way. Okay, now, right. So coming to here, here ranges you see here, these are the ranges here. Okay, right. So coming to sine inverse, cos inverse, tan inverse, cosecant inverse, secant inverse, see here, observe here. The range of these functions is same as domain of these functions. The range of these functions is same as the domain of, that means what? In these two tables, if you remember this range of all these sine functions, cos functions, tan functions, it is easy to remember domain of the sine inverse, cos inverse, tan inverse, cosecant, secant, cot. According to that, it will come range minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. That means already while explaining the sine inverse, inverse trigonometric functions, there we told that these are all will become bijective functions. I will explain in the types of functions. Bijective functions, they will be bijective in the domain from minus 1 to 1. Okay, now right. Let us see the domain and ranges of some more standard functions. So here the standard function is root of a square minus x square. So domain is closure bracket minus a to a, and range is closure bracket 0 to a. Sir, how we will get, sir? So I will show the proof of one problem here. So here the function is, that means f of x is equal to, your function is f of x is equal to under square root of a square minus x square. Okay, now. So the function is defined. What is the input what you have to give? Whatever by the input you give, your output should be defined. You should not give whatever may be the input you may give, but output you have to get should be defined. When the output will be defined, this will be defined when a square minus x square is greater than or equal to 0. Why? The quantity a square minus x square is under square root. Under square root, we know that in real numbers it should be either 0 or positive, right? So this is equal to x square minus a square is less than or equal to 0. This is x plus a, x minus a less than or equal to 0. From this, we can easily conclude that minus a less than or equal to x less than or equal to plus a. That means x means your input. Input means domain. Domain is minus a to plus a. Okay, now clear. Now, how to find out range? So, to find out the range, we call it as y. So, therefore, a square minus x square is equal to y square. So, this implies x square is equal to a square minus y square. Your x is equal to under square root of a square minus y square. of course plus or minus a square minus x square is equal to y square. So your x square is equal to a square minus y square. So to find the domain, range, so this should be defined. This should be defined. That means a square minus y square should be greater than or equal to 0. Should be greater than or equal to 0. Right here, so y square minus a square is less than or equal to 0. So this is a y plus a, y minus a less than or equal to 0. So minus a less than or equal to y less than or equal to plus a. But if you observe, so you should not get conclusion that the range is between minus a to plus a. Oh no, you should not get conclusion. Why? Because see the domain here. Domain lies between minus a to plus a. Domain is from minus a to plus a. That means minimum value is minus a, maximum is plus a. If you put minus a plus a, what you will get here? Minus a, if you put minus a whole square, that means a square minus a square is 0. That means its a minimum value is 0. Otherwise, you also put x is equal to a square minus a square, 0. That means your minimum value is 0, maximum value is in between minus a, 0 is there, no? So you keep 0, therefore you will get a. That's why, so this is a 0 less than y less than or equal to a. Understand this? So the minimum value you will get 0 and the maximum value you will get plus a. Like that, the remaining functions are also we can find out. Same procedure will apply. So you should be very careful while finding the range of a function. You should not get immediately conclusion. Therefore, the range is minus a to plus a. Now, here the domain range, how you will get range? Depending upon the input domain, you will get the range here. So here minus a to plus a is codomain actually. So here you are taking ranges from minus a to a. So try to understand this. If you substitute here x square, a square minus x square is an even function. So if you substitute from minus a to a, the minimum value is 0, the maximum value is a. Minimum value is 0, the maximum value is a. That is 0 to a. That is your range. Okay na? So like that, the remaining functions are also you will get like this. Okay na? So remember that the order root of a square minus x square, root of x square minus a square. 1 by root of a square minus x square. This is 1 by root of x square minus a square. So these are some standard functions. So let us see some more standard functions. Okay na? Dear students, let us see the domain and ranges of some more standard functions. So they are the a power x, e power x, they are called exponential functions. Log x is called a logarithmic function, mod x, and this is step of x, and this is a fractional part of x. So I will explain one by one all these in the topic types of functions. So here the domain of a power x is a set of real numbers. You can take any real numbers, but the output is from 0 to infinity. So you cannot get 0. Why? Because whatever may be the value x you substitute here, you never get 0. Why? Because here a greater than 0, positive, and a not equal to 1. Definitely you won't get 0. As x value is in the numerator, that means a power x. That means as x value increases, a power x value, it goes on, tends to infinity. Okay now, right. E power x is also an exponential function. So here x input, x value, you can put anything, whatever will be that, but output is as usual from 0 to infinity only, range. So log x to the base a, here a should be greater than 0 and a should not be equal to 1. Here a should not be equal to 1. Here also we know that logarithms are defined only for positive real numbers. That's why 0 to infinity. I am saying positive real numbers. That means 0 is neither positive nor negative. But the output is anything you can get, either negative values, rational, irrational, positive, negative, all values you will get. Okay na? Right. So here mod x is also a function. So whose domain is R and the range is always you will get 0 and positive real numbers you will get. 0 and positive. And here also this is a step of x. This is a greatest integer function, we call it as. Input you can do anything, but the output is always integers. From minus infinity to plus infinity, all integers will come. So this is also called a fractional part of x, that is a x minus mod x, that is equal to set of real numbers. Domains you can give anything, but the output is from 0 to 1 only. 1 also you won't get. 0 to 1. 0 to 1, there are infinite number of real numbers are there. Okay now. So, one more function is there, that is root x. Root x function is also, see, observe here, x is in the under square root. X is under the square root. Therefore, whatever may be the quantity which is in under square root, that should be either 0 or positive. That's why the domain is 0 and positive. The output also we will take it as a 0 and positive, 0 to infinity. Okay na? Right. One more interesting function is there, that is a cos x plus b sin x plus c is equal to 0. This is also one of the standard function. Its domain is, see here, cos x sin x. What are the domain of cos x sin x is set of real numbers. That's why domain is real numbers. Domain is real numbers. Whatever may be the input you can put here x, x. But the output, that is a range, is from, this is the minimum value, that will be the maximum value. What is the minimum value? C minus root of a square plus b square. What is the maximum value? C plus of root of a square plus b square. Understand? So, I hope that you understand the domains and ranges of some standard functions. So, you should be very, very careful about this domains and ranges. Why? Because while solving the problems, these domains and ranges will play a very, very important role. So, if you don't know these domain and ranges, you will get a wrong conclusions. Definitely, you will get wrong conclusions. Understand? So, I hope that you understand this concept. Dear students, I hope that you enjoyed today's class with some more topics and some more problems. Tomorrow's class we will meet. Okay. So, until then, all the best.